No maid survived more than a day inside the Hale mansion until Ariana Brooks walked in. She thought she was just taking a job. She didn't know she was stepping into a house haunted by grief, guarded by half-vampire children, and hunted by a mother who refused to stay dead. Welcome back, my beautiful family and friends. If you're hooked in and you're ready to enjoy this story, click subscribe and let me know in the comments where you're watching from, because tomorrow I will be giving you another story just as interesting as this one, and you don't want to miss it. Now, let us begin. Ariana Brooks had always believed she could handle anything. She survived sharing a Brooklyn apartment with 3 roommates who treated cleaning as a theoretical concept. She survived her boss at the diner, who argued with customers for sport. She even survived her mother's "when are you getting married?" phone calls, which arrived like utility bills, inevitable and always at the wrong time. But standing in front of the Hale mansion, an enormous black stone estate looming over the edge of Westchester like a watchful gargoyle, Ariana wasn't so sure. The place looked like it was built for a billionaire who had a Pinterest board labeled Gothic chic, then said, yes. Darker. Her phone buzzed with a new message from the recruiter. Confirmed. Jonathan Hale will meet you inside. Do not be late. As if she could be. Missing rent was a fear more powerful than any mansion. She rang the doorbell. It didn't ding. It roared, like someone recorded a lion's growl on subwoofers and said, "This is welcoming." Ariana flinched. See? Already messing with me, she muttered to herself. Then the door opened. Jonathan Hale stood there, tall and unmoving like someone carved him out of marble, then whispered, "Now breathe once every 45 seconds so you look alive." He wore a tailored black suit, his skin pale enough to reflect the chandelier light behind him. His eyes were the strangest shade, deep crimson, like dark wine held up to the sun. "Ms. Brooks," he said, voice smooth enough to cut glass. "You're on time." "Good," Ariana said. "I'm very committed to punctuality. And bills." He didn't laugh. She suspected he hadn't laughed since the invention of electricity. "Follow me." The moment she stepped inside, the door slammed shut behind her with such force she jumped. Jonathan didn't even react. He simply turned and walked deeper into the mansion with long, quiet strides. Ariana followed. The hallways were so tall they felt like cathedral aisles. The decor was luxurious but oddly cold. Everything gold, black, or silver. No family photos. No kid art. No life. The mansion felt like it was holding its breath. "Before we proceed," Jonathan said without turning, "you should know this job is unconventional. I can handle unconventional. We will see." His tone suggested he did not think she could. That only made her more determined. They reached a set of double doors. Behind them, screaming. The kind of screaming that made Ariana pause. Not normal kid screaming. This sounded like a zoo riot. Jonathan placed his hand on the doorknob. "If you accept this job, prepare yourself." Ariana exhaled sharply. "Sir, you keep saying that like you're about to introduce me to a dragon." He pushed the doors open, and she understood. The living room looked like it had lost a fight with a tornado. Feathers drifted through the air like sad snow. A couch was flipped upside down. Paint splattered the white walls in chaotic streaks. In the middle of the destruction stood 3 small children who looked like they had not slept, eaten, or let an adult survive near them for months. Ethan, the oldest boy, held a paintbrush like a sword. His little chest heaved with anger. His eyes glowed faintly. Not a trick of the light. Definitely glowing. Caleb, the middle boy, was crying, though he tried to hide it behind his hands. His ears twitched at every noise, like he could hear sounds no one else could. And Lila, the youngest, small and silent, stood apart, studying Ariana with unsettlingly calm eyes. Observant. Sharp. Almost ancient. "Triplets," Jonathan said simply. Ariana just stared. Ethan saw her first. "No," he shouted, launching a toy truck at her feet. "We don't want a new nanny." "Yeah," Caleb sobbed. "They always leave. They're scared of us." Lila stepped forward just an inch. "You should leave too." Her voice was soft. Too soft, and it echoed strangely. Ariana blinked once. "Okay, so, vibrant children." Ethan hissed. Actually hissed. little emerging fangs glinting. She pointed at him. Baby, no, put those tiny knives back in your mouth. The boys froze mid-tantrum. Lila's eyes narrowed. You not scared? Ariana shrugged. Of children? Please. I've worked at a diner in New York. 6-year-olds with unlimited soda are worse than demons. Caleb sniffled. We're not demons. I didn't say you were. I said worse. A small snort escaped Ethan's nose. Ariana counted it as a victory. Jonathan watched from the doorway, arms folded, unreadable. His eyes glowed slightly brighter, like he was studying her soul. She's different, Caleb whispered. She won't stay, Lila murmured. None of them stay. Ariana stepped closer carefully, watching where she put her feet, because the floor looked like it was plotting against her ankles. I'm not here to replace your mama, she said softly. And I'm not here to run. The room went still. The boys exchanged glances. Lila's breathing hitched. Ariana knelt down, ignoring the feathers sticking to her jeans. I can see you're hurting. And when kids hurt, they act out. But I'm not leaving. Ethan's jaw trembled. Even if we scare you, you don't scare me. Even if we're weird. Caleb whispered, cheeks wet. Baby, I'm weird, Ariana said. We'll match. Lila stepped right up to Ariana, staring into her eyes with eerie intensity. You feel different. Ariana smiled. Thank you. I think. Jonathan finally spoke. Children, enough. His voice carried a weight Ariana didn't understand. A supernatural gravity. Ethan and Caleb looked down instantly. Lila didn't. She glanced at Ariana once more, then at her father. Are you sure? Jonathan's eyes flickered with something impossible to read. Go clean yourselves, he said. The children ran off. While Ethan ran, Caleb shuffled, and Lila glided like she was floating 2 inches above the ground. Ariana stood and turned to Jonathan. So, they're cute. He raised an eyebrow. Cute. They're basically adorable paranormal raccoons. Jonathan exhaled slowly, the closest he came to laughing. Follow me. He led her down the hall to the kitchen. It looked untouched, silent, empty, a showpiece kitchen that had never seen real food. The refrigerator hummed ominously. Ariana opened it. Inside were blood bags. She closed it. I'm choosing peace and ignoring that. Jonathan finally looked directly at her, red eyes burning gently. I'm a vampire, Miss Brooks. I suspected, Ariana replied, waving casually. You don't blink enough, and your cheekbones are too sharp to be legal. He blinked once, slowly. My children are half vampire. Their abilities manifest unpredictably. I can work with that. Jonathan tilted his head. You are unfazed. I grew up with 6 cousins. This is nothing. He studied her a long moment, eyes narrowing, like she was a riddle he couldn't solve. It's possible you may last longer than the others. How long do they last? Some an hour, some minutes. Ariana winced. Wow. Jonathan's expression shifted, softer for a flicker of a second. If you stay, the children may finally find stability. And you? She asked carefully. Jonathan stiffened. I do not require stability. Everyone does. He didn't respond. Instead, he looked toward the hallway, jaw tightening. A chill passed through the air. A shadow moved somewhere deep within the mansion. Ariana shivered. What was that? Jonathan did not blink. My children aren't the reason the nannies left. What? They were protecting them. Ariana slowly turned toward the dark corner where the hallway disappeared. Protecting them from what? Jonathan's voice dropped to a whisper cold enough to freeze breath. From their mother. Ariana's stomach dropped. Before she could speak, a soft, eerie voice floated through the hall. They were right to be afraid. The shadows shifted. Ariana's pulse hammered. Jonathan stepped in front of her, eyes glowing bright red, fangs lengthening. Stay behind me. The air grew colder. The darkness thickened. A silhouette moved, and the nightmare began. Ariana Brooks had worked in wealthy homes before, but none of them made her feel like the walls were watching her. Yet that was exactly how Jonathan Hale's mansion felt. As she walked behind Mrs. Pennington through the marble hallway, the air shifted like something ancient had just inhaled. Ariana paused. Did the lights just flicker? Mrs. Pennington didn't even turn around. They do that when Mr. Hale is awake. Awake? The man lived in a mansion that looked allergic to sunlight. Awake sounded like a threat. Ariana cleared her throat. He works night shifts. No, dear. Mrs. Pennington finally turned to her with a stiff smile. He simply prefers the dark. Red flag. Huge red flag. Red flag wearing a cape with a dramatic collar. Still, Ariana followed. She needed this job. The hallway opened into a grand living room. If grand meant expensive furniture flipped over, curtains torn down, and the kind of destruction that screamed a supernatural toddler tornado had passed through. And there they were, the Hale triplets. Ethan stood in the middle, arms crossed like a tiny mafia boss. Caleb was crouched on a sofa, eyes glowing faintly gold, almost feline. Lila, the only girl, sat perfectly still on the floor, staring at Ariana like she could see into her soul. Ariana blinked. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is happening. Ethan stepped forward. Who are you? The new nanny, Mrs. Pennington announced, then retreated like she was fleeing a battlefield. Ariana watched the woman escape through the door. Lock it behind her and run. Wow, that was encouraging. Ethan smirked. Suit yourself. You'll be gone by lunchtime. We're good at it, Caleb added with a proud nod. We broke Miss Olivia's ankle, Lila said calmly, still staring. She sued Daddy. She's scared of us now. Okay, Ariana said cheerfully, clapping her hands. So I see you guys like team bonding activities. The triplets froze. No fear, no yelling, no praying. Ariana walked closer, stepping over toys and shattered glass. I'm Ariana. I'm not here to replace your mom. And I am definitely not here to be your enemy. We don't need you. Ethan snapped. Yeah, Caleb echoed. Lila didn't speak. Her eyes glowed a soft violet now. Ariana crouched to their level. You need someone who actually listens. And I'm not afraid of you. For a moment, nobody breathed. Then Ethan's nostrils flared. You should be. Ariana leaned in, whispering, Sweetheart, I grew up with 5 cousins who threw knives at each other for fun. You 3 don't scare me. Caleb gasped. Lila blinked. Ethan's tough facade cracked like someone had dropped a secret in a cereal. Ariana stood up. Now, who wants breakfast? Blood, Caleb said instantly. Pardon? Ariana turned slowly. Lila shrugged. We drink other stuff. Ariana took a deep breath. Okay, I'm a universal donor of patience. But not that. Behind them, the lights flickered again. Then a cold wave swept through the room. The temperature dropped. The house fell silent. Even the triplets stiffened. Ariana turned. And there he was. Jonathan Hale. Tall, cold, too beautiful to be human. Dressed in black. Red eyes glowing faintly like embers under ash. He didn't walk. He glided. Ariana Brooks, he said in a voice that slid like velvet across glass. You survived the first 5 minutes. Should I get a trophy? She asked before her brain could stop her. When his brows lifted, the triplets silently held their breaths. Jonathan stepped closer. So close she felt the unnatural chill like winter brushing her skin. You are unlike the others. She's not scared, Lila whispered softly. Jonathan's eyes sharpened, interest flickering. Ariana swallowed. Your children are hurting, and they're acting out because they're drowning. His jaw tightened almost invisibly. She continued, but I'm here to help them, if you allow me. Jonathan studied her in silence, as if weighing the worth of her soul. Finally, you may stay. The triplets whipped their heads around. What? Ethan shrieked. But Daddy, she's human. Caleb protested. She smells like courage, Lila whispered. It's weird. Jonathan's eyes softened for one single second when they landed on his children. Give her a chance, he said quietly. The children froze. Jonathan Hale never, ever said things quietly. Ariana blinked. Wait, did she just impress a vampire billionaire? Jonathan turned to leave, his figure dissolving into shadow like mist. But not before he paused at the doorway. Ariana, he said softly, without looking back. Yes, Mr. Hale. The house reacts to emotion. If it changes, it is because someone inside is changing. Then he was gone. Ariana exhaled the breath she'd forgotten to breathe. Caleb tugged her sleeve. Do you make pancakes? Ariana smiled. Lead the way. The triplets exchanged a look. Ethan muttered, she's definitely not normal. Caleb nodded. Kinda like Daddy. No, Lila said calmly, eyes glowing faintly again. She's louder. Brighter. Ariana grinned. Oh, kids, you have no idea. The Hale mansion had seen 17 nannies flee in panic. But this time, the house itself seemed to lean forward, watching, waiting, because something extraordinary had just stepped inside. Ariana Brooks discovered 3 things within the first 5 minutes of entering the Hale kitchen. 1. The fridge was filled with enough blood bags to start a small hospital. 2. Ethan and Caleb were already fighting over who got the good blood. 3. Lila was quietly rearranging the silverware telekinetically. Ariana's eye twitched. So, she said, clapping her hands, who's hungry for pancakes? Caleb blinked. You're cooking? Like a human. Yes, Caleb, like a human. Ethan hopped onto a bar stool. We only drink blood in the mornings. Ariana opened the pantry. Well, today you're also trying scrambled eggs. All 3 triplets gasped as if she'd suggested they eat fire. That's cannibalism. Ethan shouted. No, sir, it is not, Ariana said, pulling out a skillet. It's protein. Lila floated a spoon behind Ariana's back. Are you sure? Blood has iron. Ariana froze, turned slowly, and snatched the spoon out of the air. Sweetie, she said calmly, if I see one more kitchen utensil levitating, I'm putting all of y'all to work washing dishes. The spoon dropped. Ethan choked on air. Caleb whispered, is she allowed to say that? Lila blinked innocently. She scares me more than Daddy. Ariana smiled. Good. Eat your eggs. Fire small win number 1. The breakfast miracle. To everyone's shock, including Ariana's, the triplets actually tried the eggs. Caleb sniffed at first like a suspicious raccoon. Ethan poked it with a fork, expecting it to fight back. Lila studied it like it held ancient prophecies. Finally, Ethan took a bite. His eyes widened. This is good. Caleb's shoulders relaxed as he ate. Lila took a forkful and quietly whispered, I don't hate it. Ariana exhaled. Look at that. Only 20 minutes in and nobody had tried to stab her. Progress. She leaned on the counter, feeling the tension in the room soften just a little. That's when the temperature dropped again. A cold gust swept through the kitchen. The shadows on the walls bent unnaturally, like they were bowing. Jonathan Hale stepped into the kitchen doorway. His presence alone dimmed the lights. His red eyes glowed faintly in the dark. You're eating food, he noted, voice like velvet dipped in steel. Ethan puffed his chest. Miss Ariana made it. Jonathan's gaze drifted to Ariana, slow, deliberate, curious. You convinced them to try human meals, he said. That has never been possible. Ariana shrugged. I told them it's just eggs. Jonathan tilted his head slightly. No, you told them they were safe. The triplets glanced between their father and Ariana, confused but listening. Jonathan stepped forward, shadows following his movements like loyal pets. Ariana Brooks, he said, you are either brave or reckless. Why not both? She said with a smile that surprised even herself. Jonathan blinked once, slowly, like she had spoken in a language he had forgotten existed. Then, smash! All 3 triplets jumped. A crystal goblet had shattered on the counter, spontaneously. Jonathan's eyes narrowed. Your emotions, he murmured to the children. They are still unstable. No. Ariana felt it immediately. That wasn't the kids. That was him. Jonathan Hale was losing control of something. Something strong. Something ancient. Ariana swallowed hard. What exactly was she dealing with? Fire small, win number 2, the first laugh. The tension broke when Caleb leaned over to Ariana and whispered loudly. He does it when he's hungry. Jonathan shot him a sharp look. Caleb hid behind Ariana like she was a bulletproof shield. Ariana stepped forward. Sir, are you hungry? Jonathan met her eyes. Something flickered in his expression. Surprise? Regret? Hunger? I manage, he said coolly. You look pale. I am pale. You look extra pale. Ethan snorted. Caleb giggled. Even Lila cracked a tiny smile. Jonathan blinked again, confusion crossing his face. Did he just witness his children laugh? Ariana crossed her arms. That's because you didn't eat. Jonathan raised a brow. You believe I eat eggs? No, Ariana said. I believe you need blood. The kids nodded. Jonathan froze. Ariana wasn't scared. She wasn't whispering. She wasn't trembling. She was stating facts. Caleb tugged her sleeve. Daddy only drinks when we're asleep. He doesn't like us to see. Ariana nodded slowly. Because he doesn't want to scare you. Jonathan inhaled sharply. The room fell silent. He looked at Ariana, really looked, and something ancient in his gaze softened. Almost broke. You see too much, he murmured. Ariana swallowed. Maybe that's why I'm here. High voltage sharp turn. The house speaks. Before anyone could respond, the lights flickered violently. The walls trembled. A low rumble echoed through the mansion, like the sound of an enormous heartbeat. The triplets clung to Ariana. Jonathan's eyes flashed blood red. No, he whispered sharply. Not yet. Ariana stepped back. What's happening? Jonathan didn't answer, but his shoulders tensed. His fangs extended. His pupils thinned like a predator sensing danger. And then, from a far end of the house, a door slammed. Hard. Ariana jumped. Ethan hid behind her leg. Caleb whimpered. Lila's eyes glowed violet again. Jonathan breathed out one sentence. They're awake. Ariana's heart dropped. What's awake? Jonathan turned to her, face stone cold, deadly serious. The things that killed their mother. The room froze. Ariana's blood ran cold. The triplets began to shake. Jonathan took one step forward, red eyes blazing. Ariana, stay close. No matter what you see. Then the shadows swallowed him. The lights didn't just flicker this time. They trembled, vibrating with a low, hungry pulse, as if something inside the wiring wanted out. Ariana held the triplets close as another deep thud echoed through the mansion. The walls shuddered. Dust fell from the ceiling. The entire Hale estate felt alive and terrified. Daddy said they're awake, Caleb whispered, clutching Ariana's arm so tightly she felt his tiny fingernails. Who is awake, baby? Ariana whispered. Lila didn't blink. The shadows. Ariana inhaled sharply. Oh no, absolutely not. We're not doing shadows come to life today. Ethan's voice trembled. Mommy tried to stop them, and they took her. Ariana swallowed. Okay, she murmured, kneeling down. Listen to me. You three stay behind me. If anything comes, you run. Don't look back. Don't talk. Don't try to fight. Just run. Ethan nodded. Caleb whimpered. Lila stood still, eyes glowing faint lavender. Then, boom, a door somewhere down the hall blew off its hinges. Ariana jumped. Lila whispered, They're hungry. Oh, wonderful, Ariana muttered. Maybe they'll settle for salad. Another thunderous slam echoed from the second floor. The triplets screamed and pressed against Ariana. Jonathan emerged from the darkness like a nightmare carved from marble. His eyes were glowing full crimson now, bright enough to illuminate the hall. Stay behind me, he ordered. Ethan whispered urgently, Daddy, they're angry. Jonathan's jaw clenched. They always are. Ariana placed a firm hand on the kid's shoulders. Jonathan, what are we dealing with? He didn't hesitate. Wraiths. Ariana froze. As in ghosts. Jonathan shook his head slowly. No, as in beings made of pure hunger. They devour emotion, memory, and... He stopped and looked directly at her. Souls. Oh, Ariana breathed. Great. Wonderful. Soul-eating shadows. Why not? Jonathan's voice dropped into a quiet, deadly whisper. They were dormant until the triplets began to manifest their powers. Their mother tried to protect them. She underestimated the wraiths. He swallowed hard. A muscle in his jaw twitched. She paid with her life. Ariana's pulse spiked. So why are they waking up now? Jonathan turned his head slightly toward her, eyes glowing like dying suns. You soothed the children, he said. You made them laugh. Their emotions awakened energy strong enough to stir the wraiths. Wait, Ariana said, blinking. So, because these babies finally felt happiness, your evil house spirits decided to return for vacation? Yes, that is petty. Jonathan stared at her, speechless. Ethan snorted. Caleb laughed nervously. Even Lila covered her mouth. The house answered with a deep rumble. Move, Jonathan hissed. He grabbed Ariana's wrist and pulled her as they ran down the hallway, the triplets sprinting behind them. The hall lights exploded one by one. Shadows stretched across the walls like claws. Ariana felt cold fingers brush her arm. And then, a voice whispered in her ear. A child's voice. Soft, pleading. Mama, help us. Ariana froze. She knew that voice wasn't real, but her body reacted before her mind did. Every hair on her neck stood up. That's how they lure you, Jonathan warned, dragging her back. They mimic what you fear losing. Ariana steadied herself. Nobody touches my soul, she muttered. I'm behind on rent. I need it. Ethan tugged her shirt. Ariana. Yes, baby. Are you scared? Ariana looked him dead in the eye. Yes, but that's not stopping me. Ethan swallowed. Mom said that too. Ariana froze. Jonathan's expression shifted. Sharp pain hidden behind that stoic vampire mask. We need to get to the sunroom, he said. The wraiths can't cross natural light. It's the only safe place until sunrise. Ariana nodded. Let's go. They ran. The wraiths followed. Shadows skittered along the walls like insects. Voices whispered from all directions. The air grew colder, thicker. Ariana held the triplets close, whispering, It's okay, babies, keep moving. Then, a wraith materialized directly in front of them. Tall, twisted, shimmering like liquid smoke. Its hollow face turned toward Lila. A little soul for me, it hissed. Lila screamed. Jonathan lunged with inhuman speed, eyes blazing, fangs bared. No! He struck the wraith with force that shook the floor. The creature dissolved into dark mist, shrieking. Ariana stared. Jonathan Hale, quiet, cold, composed, was now a full predator. Terrifying, beautiful, unleashed. He grabbed her hand again. Run! They sprinted through the hall, but the door to the sunroom slammed shut. Jonathan cursed under his breath. The shadows behind them thickened, merging. A massive wraith rose tall, towering, skeletal, hollow-eyed. Give us the children, it hissed. Ariana stepped forward before Jonathan could stop her. You must not know me, because I don't play about kids. The wraith smiled. An empty, chilling stretch of darkness. Their mother said the same. Ariana's heart broke, but Lila stepped beside her. No, she whispered. Mama said, protect them, always, and we will. Her eyes glowed so brightly the air shimmered around her. Ethan and Caleb joined her, holding hands. The wraith recoiled. Jonathan stared at Ariana. Ariana, he said low, they're responding to you. You're stabilizing their power. Ariana blinked. I'm doing what? You're grounding them. You're shielding their fear. I am one woman in braids and target genes, she snapped. I don't shield supernatural. Another wraith shrieked. Ariana flinched. Okay. Children, hold my hands. We're doing this. They joined hands. The air changed. A warmth spread across Ariana's skin. The shadows recoiled. The house itself groaned like something ancient was awakening. Jonathan's eyes widened. Ariana, your aura... What about it? She asked. It's blazing. The wraith screeched, writhing in pain. And then, the biggest one hissed. She is not human. Silence. Ariana blinked slowly. I'm sorry. Come again. Jonathan stared at her like she'd grown wings. Lila whispered, That's why we like you. Ethan nodded. You feel like Mom. Caleb pointed at her chest. Warm and strong. Ariana stepped back, heart racing. What do you mean? She whispered. I'm not human. The wraiths shrieked again, feeling threatened, and lunged at them. Jonathan grabbed Ariana. We'll discuss this later. The wraiths flew forward, and all Ariana saw was darkness. Ariana woke to silence. Heavy, thick, unnatural silence. Her eyelids fluttered open. She wasn't in the hallway anymore. She wasn't in the bright sunroom Jonathan wanted to reach. She was in a place made of shadows. Black fog curled around her feet, whispering like breathing sand. The air tasted like cold metal. Tom didn't feel real here. Her pulse sounded too loud, echoing like a drum. Ariana. The voice was fragile, shaking. She spun around and found Ethan, Caleb, and Lila huddled together, their small bodies trembling. Ariana rushed to them. "Oh, babies, are you okay?" Ethan nodded, but barely. "We're not hurt. But this is where they took Mom." Caleb buried his face in her chest. Lila whispered, "This is the between." A chill raced up Ariana's spine. "The what?" "A place between life and death," Lila answered softly. "Wraiths live here." Ariana's hands tightened around the children. "And where is your father?" she whispered. "He fought them," Ethan said. "He tried to protect us." Caleb sniffled. "They dragged him away." A cold breath brushed Ariana's neck. She froze. A wraith floated behind her, massive, towering, its face hollow like the dark side of the moon. But this time, it didn't attack. It bowed. "Ariana Brooks," it hissed. "The blood recognizes you." "The what now?" Ariana snapped. Lila tugged her hand. "Ariana, this is what we've been trying to tell you. You feel like our mom." "I'm not your mama," Ariana whispered, breath shaking. "But I will fight for you like her. Always." The wraith drifted closer, elongated fingers twisting through smoke. "You are not human," it hissed. Ariana swallowed. "Okay, what does that even mean?" The wraith answered with a voice like cracking glass. "You are of the line of the Luminari." The shadows shook. Even the children gasped. Ariana blinked. "The what?" Lila whispered. "Mama was Luminari too." Ethan nodded. "People born with light. The only ones who can fight wraiths." Caleb whispered. "Luminari are almost extinct." Ariana stared at the wraith. "You mean I've been, what, magic? Light-powered? All my life. And nobody told me." The wraith hissed. "Light is in your blood. It awakens near darkness." Ariana took a shaky breath. "Well, it's definitely awake now." The wraith glided backward, as if afraid she might burn it. But Ariana stepped forward. "You kidnapped the father of these children," she said, voice trembling but strong. "And you murdered their mother." A faint roar echoed through the shadows. "Jonathan, he was here." Ariana felt anger rise in her chest, deep, protective, primal. Her heartbeat grew louder, hotter, fiercer. The shadows around her recoiled. "Ariana," Ethan whispered, "you're glowing." She looked down. Her skin shimmered with faint golden light. Her palms brightened, like small suns breaking through her hands. The wraiths hissed, retreating. Ariana lifted her chin. "Let Jonathan Hale go," she commanded. "No," the wraith spat. "He is ours. His grief feeds us. His guilt sustains us. His children need him. We feast on their fear." Ariana stepped closer, her light growing brighter. Ethan, Caleb, and Lila followed, tiny hands gripping the hem of her shirt. "Then I guess y'all are about to go hungry," Ariana said. The wraith lunged, but Ariana raised her hand. A beam of light split the darkness like a divine blade. The creature shrieked, its body dissolving into sparks that faded into nothing. Caleb gasped. "Ariana, you killed it." Ariana stared at her hands. What was she? Before she could think further, a scream tore through the shadows. "Jonathan!" The children cried out. Caleb pulled her toward the sound. That way. Ariana ran, light spilling from her with every step. The darkness twisted, trying to block the path. But the children ran beside her, their small hands glowing faintly now too. Together, they forced the shadows apart. And then, they saw him, Jonathan Hale, pinned to a pillar of black stone, wraiths crawling over him like parasites. His body trembled. His fangs were out, eyes glowing but dimming. He looked like a fallen god. Ariana felt something inside her snap. She stepped into the clearing. "Get away from him," she whispered. The wraiths hissed. "You cannot fight all of us," the leader snarled. Ariana stepped forward. "Watch me." The wraiths surged. Ariana didn't back down. She closed her eyes, just for a moment, and whispered, "Protect them." Light exploded from her body. Not soft light, not gentle light. Raging, holy, ancient light. A hurricane of brilliance engulfed the darkness. The wraiths screamed, their shapes twisting, burning, dissolving. The entire between cracked like glass. When the light faded, Ariana stood panting, and all the wraiths were gone. Every single one. Ethan stared at her in awe. Caleb sobbed happy tears. Lila whispered, "You saved us." Ariana turned to Jonathan. The stone pillar crumbled. He collapsed forward, and she caught him. Jonathan blinked weakly. "Ariana, Luminari." She brushed hair from his forehead. Apparently, he stared into her eyes, something soft and shocked inside him. "You came for me. I'd do it again." Jonathan's voice cracked. "They said I couldn't protect them, but you saved my children." Ariana touched his cheek. "We saved them together." His eyes softened. "The wraiths are gone. Forever." Caleb hugged Jonathan's leg. Ethan wrapped his arms around his father's waist. Lila squeezed between Ariana and Jonathan, clinging to both. "Daddy," she whispered, "we're safe." Jonathan swallowed hard and pulled all three children close. Then he looked up at Ariana. "You are family now." Ariana's breath hitched. The golden fog of the between began to evaporate, and suddenly, they were back in the Hale mansion. The sunroom. Warm. Safe. Filled with light. Ethan cheered. Caleb started dancing. Lila hugged Ariana so tightly she nearly toppled over. Jonathan watched them and then looked at Ariana. There was gratitude in his eyes. Respect. Awe. And something gentler, deeper, blooming quietly. "You saved us," he murmured. "No," Ariana said, wrapping her arms around the triplets. "We saved each other." Jonathan stepped closer. "And now," he whispered, "you'll never face anything alone again." Ariana smiled. For them? For this strange, supernatural, messy family? She would face shadows every day. Thank you for watching this story to the end. If you enjoyed this story, you will surely love the next one. It's as crazier and more intriguing as you can ever imagine. So do check it out. Click on the image showing on your screen right now to watch the next one.